everybody, thanks for coming back. We are going to install remote start on the 2019 Tundra today, and all you need to start it is your key in the kit that I got off of Amazon through the Start X remote control module. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. There is a good video on Amazon, but I want to show you my experience with it, and we'll see how it starts after we get it installed. So stick with me. So here's the kit that we're going to be using. It is Start X Remote Starter Kit. It was $190 on Amazon. And for a lot of you that live in cold weather climates like we do, it just is really nice to help defrost your windshield in the cold mornings or cool down your vehicle when it's hot out like it is now. Well, currently it's raining, but it's still humid. So this would still be really nice to get into a cool truck. So let me show you what's in this box. So you open up the starter box and you have the control module that comes in this squishy wrap to protect it. This is what everything would be plugged into. There's no wire splicing from the videos that I've seen, which is really nice. It's just a plug and play kit, so you don't have to cut into the factory wiring. This kit comes with its own panel tool, which is nice. If any of you have been to Harbor Freight, you know, they have a number of different panel tools. So if you've done anything in your vehicle before, you likely have those, but it's nice to provide its own kit. Comes with instruction manual, which a lot of people like to throw away, but I really enjoy making sure I do everything right. So it comes with a note for the 2020 Tundras. It's a little bit different system for the TPMS monitoring, but we don't have to worry about that on this 2019 Tundra. And then a warranty card. So let's open this up and see what is in here. Try not to cut any wires, that would be super unfortunate. So it comes with some zip ties, which is convenient to make sure all your wiring is up and out of the way when you go ahead to put your dash back in place. Not the whole dash, don't worry, just part of the dash, the lower assembly. This is, I believe, the kit for the 2020 Tundra, this wire specifically. So I don't know that we will need that, but we'll definitely hang on to it just in case. And then this is the main kit. It looks pretty self-explanatory. Everything has its own plugs. So like I said, you don't have to cut. You can just plug everything in. And then it also comes with this plunger deal, which I do not know what that is for. So we'll have to jump into the directions and show you how it goes. This is the TPMS plug-in for, I believe, 2014 to 2019 trucks. So we definitely will need to use this as well. So I'm going to look into the instructions and I'll touch base with you once we get those read over. So now that we're inside the truck, the first step is to turn the ignition on so that we can turn the steering wheel. I'm going to turn it all the way on so we get a little bit of air conditioning. So the first step is to turn the steering wheel so that you this screw. And there's another screw on the other side that we're going to undo as well. Once you have the screws undone, you can kind of pull down on the screw portion to open this up. Then you can stick in your pry tool and you can just turn it, which will pop that open. Then we can go ahead and turn the wheel. You have to have it on to turn the wheel, but we'll go ahead and pop that down. Go ahead and pop that down. And that will just come out just like that. These little tabs have to come out from the inside of the dash panel if they were up in there. So you can set that to the side. And then we go ahead and remove the sill plate down here. which normally you can just do by hand. As you've popped up the sill plate, there is a plastic nut right there that needs to be removed before you can completely take it off. You can just do that by hand. Go ahead and set that in our kit. It just pulls right out. Sorry if we got some bad angles in there. Go ahead and set this to the side. You can go ahead, after you've removed the sill panel, pop this piece out as well. You can leave that down here. And then the 2 bolts that need to be undone to get this out of the way is right here and right there. And that will take a 13/32 socket to undo those. Once you have those 2 bolts removed, you can grab onto the dash and pull it down. And then you have to be a little bit aggressive with this side and really pull, which can be kind of scary. Once you've got it pulled down, if one of these yellow clips comes off, you can just push it back on and it'll snap right back into place. But make sure you find that so you don't have any rattles in your dash. And when I pulled this out, this little cable came off. I believe it goes right in this slot. There doesn't seem to be any power for it. It may just be an accessory button in a different trim Tundra. So I'll just make sure to put this back in this slot to keep its space right there. You can go ahead and get out your T-harness at this point so that we can go ahead and start installing the wiring. Now that we have the panel all pulled down, we're going to go ahead and start with the wiring. So the first one that you're going to do is the ignition switch wiring, and that is this big heavy gauged piece that splits off and has the ground wire attached to it. You can see it is number 5 on here. And this is over here by your key. And what you're going to want to do is pinch in this clip right here and pull this down. And it comes down pretty hard, so just get a good grip on that clip. And then you're going to plug your harness right here, the main part of it, into this piece here. And that'll clip in, and then you take this little piece that's attached to that does not have the ground cable on it, and that will go back into the slot that you pulled it out of, like this. You can feel that clip into place, and then you'll just want to make sure to zip tie these and push it. Maybe you can zip tie them to the main wiring right here that's coming out of the steering column and zip it up there out of the way. And then the next step is to run this other cable, this long cable, back behind the dash. So I'm going to pull it through here, get it behind the dash brackets so that you're not pinching it when you put these plastic pieces up. Pull your ground screw through. Naturally, it's going to get hooked on a light because when you're working in tight spaces and it's hot, anything that can get caught will get caught, as I'm sure you all know. I'll pull this through, pull the wiring through. Now that we have the ignition harness attached over here and we've run it behind our dash brackets here, you will have this piece left over. This will plug into the remote start module right there. which in all the videos that I've watched, that was confusing because that was not explained. They just skipped leaving that piece out. But you do still want to run your grounding wire to this bolt here, and then we'll make sure this is zip tied up in here so that it doesn't get pinched at all. So I got the BCM connector connected to the T-harness that was provided that runs down to the OBD2 connection. So that's plugged in, and then I coiled up the ground cable and zip tied it right here to some other factory wiring just to get it up out of the way, and we'll make sure to cut this tag end off of the zip tie. So now we're going to move down to the OBD2 port part of the project. Let's see if I can get a good view up here. So you're going to want to pinch the clips on the side, and that'll go ahead and back right out. Come to the side, and then we'll go ahead and plug in this harness right here. Plug in the factory OBD2 port to right here, and then we'll put this piece back in the OBD2 port. Now that we have the new OBD2 port plugged back into the factory location, let me show you where I rerouted everything. So the OBD2 port is right there, and it is plugged into the purple wires right here. And what I did is I pushed all of these wires up into this area behind the dash to get them out of the way, because if you leave them where they are, this emergency brake moves back and forth, and you don't want those cables to get caught. So I'm gonna zip tie these cables up here to the other cables that we've tied in, just to keep them up out of the way. So the next part of this is plugging in your remote starting module. And what you're going to want to do is press the button on the back while you plug in the cable that came from your ignition harness. And you're going to hold it down until these lights turn red and blue together. So I'm going to hold this down, plug in the ignition harness till it locks, and you can see the dots. And when it turns red and blue, you let it go. At this point, you take the leftover wires that you have that are connected to the OBD2 port T-harness, and you go ahead and plug those in to this control module. So you take this one and plug it in next to the ignition cable, this long skinny one with the multicolored. Go ahead and plug that in until it snaps. And then the other little one, white to white, you plug that in the back. Now that everything has been plugged in, we're going to go ahead and press the programming button 10 times, and then this light will change colors. And then you put the key in the ignition and turn it to on. And then once these lights turn to a solid blue, the programming will be complete. So since this is flashing blue, our programming is complete. The final step is to plug in the TPMS wiring harness, which allows you to use your key fob once you've remotely started your truck. So what you're going to do is you're going to undo this twist tie, which I'm sure you wouldn't figure it out unless you watched this video. So I'm going to show you how to do that one-handed. Pretty impressive. Might have spoken too soon. All right, we're going to cut to the next scene. So the wiring that you're going to remove is just in the driver's side kick panel here, and it's the white part just to the left of this blue plug-in. And there are two, so you're going to want to pull out the bottom one. You reach in here, press the button in, pull that out. And then we're going to go ahead and get that plugged in. to this end of the brown T-harness. There we go. Pop that together. Till it clips, or clicks rather. And then you're gonna take this and put it back up in here. And if that happens and scares the crap out of you, you just press unlock a couple times. Good gracious, that was scary. So after you've done that, you run your little skinny white cable up through the dash, and you plug in the red section into this box, into the module. Till it clips in. And then at that point, you're going to want to make sure that you do some wire management. So as you can see, this white cord, this white wire, super long. So you're going to want to pull that up and attach it to the rest of the wires up in here. Follow your little panel right in here so that it stays out of the way. Maybe you run it up under here and coil it together, and I'll show you what I come up with. So now that I have my wires all organized, I put this white wire and coiled it up with the rest. And then I took the ignition harness, and as you can see, coiled it together and attached it to the main wiring column coming down the steering column there. So the last thing that I've not really figured out how to do was where to mount the remote start module. But I think I figured out what I'm going to do. So you can see down here this metal piece that it's laying on currently. You can see it blinking there, and it lays flat right there. So I'm going to take some double-sided tape and just attach it to that metal bracket right there, and that's how we'll hold it secure. All the wires are up out of the way, out of the steering column, which is right here, the steering shaft. Nothing's touching the brake pedal, so nothing will get tangled. So I'm just going to go ahead and put some double-sided tape underneath it right there and attach it to this metal piece, and then we'll be able to put all the plastic together. Now that I have the double-sided tape on the bottom of the module and it's stuck to the metal part of the dash, I'm just double checking that everything's up and out of the way. This little piece is plugged in, so I can go ahead and push things up into place. So now that we have the TPMS harness plugged in, we're going to try this again and then see if we can get into the truck using our key fob. 1, 2, 3. You can see the truck starts up. So then let's walk around here to the door. It is locked, so let's press unlock. And the truck does unlock. Let's see if we can turn it off by pressing lock 3 times. So that's how you shut the truck off, by pressing lock 3 times. As I was trying to reinstall the kick panel, I realized that I was having trouble getting this piece put back on, and it wasn't staying flush to the side over here. And there are 2 clips that were in these holes here, right here and right here, that I couldn't get these notches around right here. So I used my clip tool here and pulled them out and then reattached them to this piece so that I can put it back and then snap those into place so it stays solid. All right, so we are done, and as you can tell, I am hot. It was probably a 2-hour process that was with a little bit of filming, but just the wire management and making sure I got all the plastic pieces snapped in and back into place took me a little bit longer than expected. But I just want to show you guys how it works one more time, and thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'm excited to have remote start. So let's see if it works like we expected. So it's locked right now. We'll press unlock. And it opens right up. As you can see, there's the TPMS light is on. All you do is put your key in the ignition, turn it forward. You don't have to crank. Put your foot on the brake. And your truck is ready to go. And it does not have the TPMS light any longer. I appreciate all you guys watching, and if you want to know how I have such great lighting in my truck, check out some of my other videos to see how we installed some LED lights. And again, thanks for checking in. I appreciate it.